You get the idea, and the solo just keeps going for like 2 minutes. When did we record this one? Was this one done at that studio? Listen. Trying to remember where and when this one was recorded. Let me think for a second. Pain thrust. Okay. I remember now. This was actually recorded at a place called MT Studios, which stood for Mick and Travis, a different Mick. The way there was no Mick that we know. Mick and Travis Studios. It was recorded in like his converted garage thing. I forgot what he charged us. It's a couple $1,000s. I remember he had now my European friends, obviously this is not what these are, but my American friends, they all know what Vienna sausages are. Tiny sausages in a can like tuna. So he had those waiting when we were done in like the kitchen, which was cute that he did that. But I remember one of the things he did, he said, if you let me do the first mix, I'll give you as many remixes as you need. But if you say anything, I'll charge you for each remix. So while we're doing the first song mix, I was like, oh, can I hear that up a little bit? It's like, all right. And they're like, all right, well, since we didn't say anything, we have a couple changes. Like, no, you said you wanted that snare up, so I have to charge you for each mix. Yeah, I remember that. But this was recorded, it was a V-drum kit. I believe the guitar tone is the JCM8, the JMP1 preamp, I think. It was me, Brent, and Travis. It might have even been me, Jared, and Travis. But this was recorded when I was 15? No. Ruber. I would have been 14. 14 years old during this. 13 or 14. Yeah, and these songs too. I'm like probably 14. Thrust was actually written by Brad originally. This was giving you an idea of what he wanted us to sound like. He wanted the band to be more like industrial. Not that that's an industrial song, but it's kind of like a Rammstein riff. I mean, it's kind of like... It's kind of Rammstein-y. So that song was written by Brad. He came with the chorus Thrust. And I think the verse, he didn't really ever have it written, so I wrote the verses. But when he decided to leave the band, he's like, you keep the band name, you keep the song Thrust, I'm going to take this other song. And then he left and started his own band called Conjoined, I think. They're definitely not still around. I don't think they record anything. But then I wrote Pain and Lake of Fire. Pain was the first song I ever wrote ever when I was like 14-ish. Guitar set out of tune. Another thing I remember this dude did, he's like, oh yeah, when all professional bands record their solos, you just like play rhythm till your solo, and then you play your solo, and then you get off the tone and you keep playing again, which is never how it's done. So it's just very bizarre. And this is a V-drum kit. He's like, oh, that's the future. Every band's gonna be recording on V-drum kits in a couple of years. Kind of didn't happen. I mean, programmed drum kits, yes, but not really a human playing V-drums. That's why that cymbal sounds so real. And I don't know where the masters of this are, so this is basically just taken from a CDR. Don't tell anybody. I just told all of you. So all this is taken from a CDR of the original print from his computer. That, I mean, I'm sure most of the kids in here don't even know what a CDR is. Sal and Jan will probably never see a CDR their entire lives. But yeah, so I wrote Lake of Fire from start to finish and Pain from start to finish in 14-ish. Thrust would have been around when I was 13. And there's an older version of Thrust that just sounds like utter trash. And this is just like very Pantera tone, just like solos upon solos. But yeah, so Mick, or was that Travis? Mick and Travis. That mix thing was just such nonsense. He's like, if you say anything, I'll charge you for each mix. But if you don't say anything, it's free mixes till it's nailed. Who the hell does that? And then the stuff I was saying before that was recorded to a zip drive, it's not been publicly released. But yeah, you get the Mark from Chimera, ladies and gentlemen. One of my favorite dudes from one of my favorite bands. Please shout out to Chimera Mark. Mark, I'm taking everyone down a trip to memory lane. I'm playing them. It's not the first Trivium demo, but it's the first good sounding Trivium demo. This is when I was 14 years old, and I was explaining how we recorded this in some dude's converted garage studio, as most records, even our professional records, were like in converted garage studios. But so I'm 14 on this, but it's on a V kit with obviously a JMP1 super digital sounding guitar track. But here's 14-year-old Matt. So everyone's saying I was trying to sound like Hetfield on Crusade. It was like maybe when I was 14. Hear that compression? But so this is the first song I fully wrote in Trivium. That was very high for me back then. And then this is off the Blue demo. The Blue demo sounds fantastic. So this is recorded in Sukov's converted mother-in-law suite studio. But this record and these tempos of the Blue demo, aka Kyrulius on Ab Initio, I was 16. This is before we got signed to Ember, for Ember, to Life Force. But these are the tempos these songs should have been. And the tones are freaking awesome. So this was like one of the first things Sukov ever did. And the tones are freaking fantastic. The tempo's perfect. I think we did this record to a click. Is why it's so good. This sounds better than Ember to Inferno's tempo to me. I haven't heard this in a while. See here, like the scream kind of took its form right around then, like 16-ish. It was there. I was 16, so who's good at math? Now this song is really killer. We should re-record this someday. So if you're wondering which record this is, everybody, this is Ab Initio, the one, and which means from the beginning. The red demo, blue demo, and yellow demo, and Ember to Inferno. It's hard tone. I think this was Jason's like first reverse snare. I want to say this is a Marshall JMP1. I'm not sure, but I used an Alesis power amp, like a PA power amp, for my power amp. It's the old school Les Paul, and the song is about the Ascori, which is the original story of black metal. Like the original, like, ancient stories of black metal. 16. It was a pretty good voice. It hurt. It's pretty Crusade, yeah. It's a very clean sounding record. The tempos are perfect. Look, listen to the tempo and verse of Fugue. This is perfect. I have a pretty bad memory too, Pearson, as you know. This is the tempo it's supposed to be. See, I was a zoomer once too, Jam, when my brain used to work. See, this tempo is perfect. And then something happened, and we decided to record the song. I was 17 on this. This is no click track. Take her away, Travis. And as you know, the yellow demo, this is the demo version of Flies. This is the song that got assigned to Roadrunner. I was 17. Click track, auto-tune, the works. Obviously, that's right. I I like this version a lot. Both versions are great. I don't have a preference. And here's
like Late to the Flies was the song that started it all for us. This isn't.
Dude, this version is better. This sounds good. Yeah, this sounds great. So my only regret is Ember is not to a click, but it's not worth redoing, because if we redo it, then it's always be a comparison, even for ourselves, even for you all. Even if you say you want it, you're gonna listen and be like, you know, I kind of like this off the original, but a little bit more, and a little bit, and then just nothing will happen. This is a cool song. This is very power metal. I was briefly listening to power metal. I do have some super old demos. They won't get muted though, because they're not like logged. This is when I was into like a lot of Rhapsody and Blind Guardian. Still love Blind Guardian. This is when I was very into power metal, but I was like, let's put some screaming over power metal. So I was thinking like, pretty power metal. I just made a Dorian face. That raspy sing. This is when I found a super evil voice. Oh, you know what I could play you?